goal isn't to live forever. The goal is to create something that will.
Welcome to Perspective, a podcast for wedding creators, where we sit down, often with a special guest, and talk about our many years of experience in the wedding industry so that you can learn from us and grow your wedding business. Hello, I'm Simon.
And I'm Greg.
Together,
And I'm
we are
Jen.
Cinemate Film. and that's Jen. That's Jen.
I've always wondered if one of the guests were going to do that.
I feel like I have to say something.
I know, I'm sorry. But together, excluding Jen, we are Cinemate Films, two Scottish-based wedding filmmakers who love nothing more than drinking coffee and talking shop with others in the wedding industry. And we've teamed up with Photography Farm to bring you 6 special episodes of this podcast in the run-up to Thrive on the 10th and 11th of March at the Imagen AI at the Hotel in Edinburgh as they celebrate 10 years with 2 packed days of talks, panels, shoots, and plenty of space to learn and connect. Obviously, this podcast is sponsored by With Jack and PickTime, but I'll get onto that a little bit later in the show. Good evening, Gregory. Who are we talking to today?
As she said, she is Jen. We are talking to Jen again.
She is Jen.
I am Jen. Yes.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's really great to be back. Yes, I am Jen, aka Jennifer Moher.
Yes, returning again after what was it, 2 years?
I think it was 2 years, or is it longer? It might
It's either 2 or 3, yeah.
be closer to 3.
Okay. It doesn't feel that long to me, but obviously I was at your oh my God, I can't remember what it was called. The Curie event that was in Edinburgh last year.
Styled
so that was
shoot
great.
workshop.
Yeah. How did you find
it was
that?
really beautiful. I loved that. That was amazing. To be able to come into a situation where I'm not from the area, so I don't have connections to vendors or anything, but to be able to walk into that situation and have it be completely planned and organized and beautiful shoot situations in front of me that I can teach and shoot myself. All I had to do was show up and educate and kind of lead it. That's like a photographer's dream to not have to do any of the planning. So yeah, having a relationship with Amanda was great. It was really, really special. Yeah. And we're planning on maybe doing another little collaborative thing coming soon. TBD.
Tell me about it. What's happening? Give me the gossip.
Well, I can't say too much. I feel like it will be announced soon, but it might be in March. It might be later. I don't know yet. We're TBD.
Okay.
But stay tuned.
Okay.
Yes.
I suppose that should segue into my apology because we weren't able to help you out for the upcoming Thrive shoot that you were planning. So I'm really sorry. We didn't have any of the equipment you asked for.
No, that's okay. That's okay. To inform the listeners of what we're even referring to.
Sorry.
I was really, my brain goes crazy when I try to plan a shoot, and so I start really big, and then usually I have to scale back and rein it in, right? And be like, no, that's way too involved and way too extra. But my dream, and I think it's still going to happen. I've found this weird way that I think I can make it work. But my dream was to create almost like a film set scenario and to have the couple in this film set, and they are essentially going to be like actors in a movie. And so we're getting those like cinematic stills of, the movie playing out, but also the behind the scenes, the backstage moments of, say, 2 actors on set. So we're calling the shoot on-set romance, and but for it to really come alive, I wanted it to feel like a true, authentic film set. So I reached out to you guys, and I was like, "Do you have production equipment that I can use for this? Can you come and just be the production crew?" And sadly, you did not, but it turns out I found a really beautiful studio space to use, and the owner of the space has all of the equipment that I need. And he might even be on set helping light certain things. And so it's going to feel like a true production. It's going to be really cool.
Oh, that's so good. Okay. Yeah. I'm so glad it worked out. That is great. Is it near the hotel?
It is not walkable. It is
Okay.
Uberable. So I think it's
Ooh.
like an 8-minute Uber ride. So
Okay.
it's not too far away. And I think
Mhm.
there's enough buffer time in between the sessions that we should be fine. Lisa says we'll be
Yeah.
fine, so we'll be fine.
If Lisa says you'll be fine, then
If
I'm
she's
sure
greenlit it,
you'll
then it'll
be
be
fine.
fine.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I read it past
yes.
her. We're good.
Good.
Yeah,
Good,
absolutely.
good.
Will you guys be joining? Will you be there?
We will be in Edinburgh, yes, and
Yeah.
Yep.
we'll be bouncing around all the shoots and just
Amazing.
participating and being there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Usually we have our cameras on us, so we're filming bits and bobs, not with the intention of actually making a film out of it, but just in case Lisa wants it. Although we do end
Yeah.
up editing something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we will definitely be around, which is cool.
Okay, great. Hop into an Uber and come to my shoot. It's going to be really beautiful.
Cool.
I think you'll love it.
Yeah. Awesome. We will do that. So, since the last time you were on, and I'm going to try my best to, I mean, obviously that was a long time ago, so we can recover some general conversation points
Mhm.
if it happens naturally. But really, I can't remember what we talked about. But I'll try my best to avoid what we talked about and encourage our listeners to go back and listen to our older episode. But I feel like a lot has changed for you creatively. So let's just start right there. What has happened in that time and why?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I re-listened to the podcast episode. I did my homework because I didn't want to just say the same things. And, I
Uh-huh.
really wanted to. So I listened to it at like, 2x speed and just made sure that I got caught up on it. And yeah,
Mhm.
it was actually really interesting to hear certain things. I mean, obviously there's consistency, there's things that have stayed the same, but certain things have very much changed.
Mhm.
Certain approaches that I take now, even in couples sessions, I was a lot more hands-on before and I'm less hands-on now and lean
Okay.
into a different approach, which I'm sure we'll get into discussing.
Mm-hmm.
Prices have increased. I think 50% of my portfolio has changed and I've become a lot more specific about the direction of my work and
Mm-hmm.
who I'm marketing to.
Yep.
And I think more of an emphasis on movies and cinema,
Mm-hmm.
with Film Club having launched in the past 2 years as well. So there's
Yes.
just been so many changes, and it was really beautiful to kind of listen and hear that, and
Mm-hmm.
it made me aware of growth and evolution as well. So there's so many things, so many things to talk
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
Where did the catalyst for change come from? Was it more of the business side of your head, or was it more the creative side of your head, or was it just the I'm bored of what I've been doing, let's do something different?
So I think that a lot of the change actually came from the development of the film club course. I don't
Okay.
know if you guys have ever put together any sort of education, but I always find that when I create anything, like even just a mentor session with someone, after that mentor session, it's like I feel like I've kind of mentored myself indirectly. Like I then take on some of the advice if I
Yeah.
wasn't already, or whatever it might be. So with film club, I've always had this huge passion for cinema, and I think anyone
Mm-hmm.
who's ever heard me speak at, obviously at Photography Farm, Thrive, any of those, I've always referenced cinematic influences, and I wanted to create some sort of a course that would basically put everything that was in my head into modules for people to follow along, and have a community where we could chat about this,
Mm-hmm.
all of these film references, and actually break down cinematic elements. So through creating the course and then actually living in it for the past year and being in it, I think that's shifted so much of what I've been doing. And
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't intentional. Like I didn't think that I needed to change anything. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's been a evolution through that, I suppose.
So
Yeah.
just a natural change. I love that.
I think
So
so.
On
Yeah.
Sorry, on you go,
On
Greg.
Film Club, tell us a bit more about Film Club then. Like you touched on a bit about what it is there, but is it something that's perpetually available to people to sign up to, or is it taken in like cohorts?
Yeah, it's always available. Essentially, it is an online course as well as community. So we have the online course component. There's like well over 40 hours now of education within the course. So there's interviews with different photographers who have, a cinematic sort of approach. And that doesn't necessarily mean cinematic as far as the visuals. I think a lot of people, there's like a look nowadays, which is like the cinematic look. And it's not so much about that. It's more about like it goes much, much deeper into the core of, director's mindset and how we can use that information for our own work, beyond just visuals, composition, things like that. It's going into the subtext of certain things. This month we've been focusing on remakes and different directors who actually remake their own films. So, like Hitchcock redoing one of his movies, or different directors who maybe they first launch a movie in a different language, like Korean or Japanese, and then they remake it for an American or English speaking audience. We've been looking at that and comparing it to our own work and revisiting our own work and re-editing it, or looking at it years later and what comes of that. So it's basically looking at the entire photography business and art and seeing it through the lens of cinema. So every single aspect, we use these metaphors from cinema, whether it's marketing a movie and how we can kind of steal from that and put that into our own work, all the way into the visuals. So yeah, and then there's a community aspect. So we have an Instagram group where all the members are. We have a group chat. We're always in there chatting about things, different movies that we've watched. We have 2 calls every month. One is a film chat call, and one is more of like business or creativity call. They're each 2 hours. So it's pretty cool. It's very much ongoing, but you can join anytime.
Awesome.
Oh, that sounds really cool.
There's so many people come on this podcast as photographers and say, "Oh, I don't get my inspiration from other photographers. I get it from the world of movies and stuff." So it's cool that you've actually taken that further and created something from it.
Yeah. It's really cool. It's been a fun project, and honestly, it was really funny too how it kind of came to be, because I randomly was in a yoga class one day, and I think this kind of calls back to certain things in the initial podcast that we did together. But I was in a yoga class and I was laying on the floor, and my brain was open to just receiving, whatever messages from the universe. And I swear I heard the word film club. Like it just like came into my brain. And I was like, that would be so cool. And I got up off the floor, which you're really not supposed to do in a yoga mat or in a yoga class. And I ran out to my coat pocket, grabbed my phone, and I wrote down Film Club, a course for photographers where we study film, cinema.
Yeah.
So it was, I feel like it was a little bit of a gift from the universe, which is very cool. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Turns out it wasn't a universe. It was actually just Margaret 2 rows behind you going,
yeah, I know.
Margaret.
Slowly Margaret in the background. Just wanted someone to start a club. And all she does is watch TV. Let's see.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah. And, we were having a conversation recently, in fact, just yesterday, with another photographer, and he was saying that he uses films as inspiration. And you mentioned the fact that it wasn't like inspiration on a visual level, because the conversation kind of led into, it's really interesting that, we kind of compare the works creatively and try to mimic one with the other. Well, we try to mimic our wedding work with films, or have it be influenced on a visual level. But really, the 2 art forms are so different, because one, you have like an ultra amount of control. You have lights and gaffers and grips a high amount of control on a set generally.
Yeah.
Compared to a wedding where you are like almost the creativity comes from the limitations of, you don't get to control what people wear. You don't get to really control the lighting unless, you are bringing your own lights, color palettes, all that kind of stuff. Like the 2 worlds are so different. So how does that work when you're playing around with framing. And I know obviously you did say not on a visual level, but I'm just so intrigued with just the purely visual at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, so there's a few answers to that. So one is when I'm speaking to a client, yes, of course, I'm not directing the day because it's a wedding. It's already predetermined. But through talking with the clients, you really do get a sense of this concept of world building. And you get this idea of what do they want this day to feel like, this world to feel like that we're living in? Because a lot of clients will come into planning their wedding with a certain, I don't know, like feeling of what they want the photos to look like or feel like. Do you know what I mean? Like they have this preconceived idea of what they want it to feel like, or they have this like romanticized, almost like it's playing out in their mind. Like they can kind of see, and to me, that is a reflection of cinema. So they might be playing it out in this romantic way, like a scene from, say, the opening of The Godfather, right? Like this outdoor, beautiful, sunlit, sun-drenched wedding, big family, you know, live music, beautiful floral dresses and things like that. Like that. That's the world that they're kind of wanting. And so what I can do as a photographer is I can kind of listen to that and understand those needs and attach it to film in a way and kind of build a bigger world or picture for myself to then enter into. And then I can maybe reference those movies or, just kind of lean into that a little bit. So from the visual aspect, that's part of it, I suppose. But yeah, also I think there's so much observation. And while we don't have full control, we can still, you know, see a scene playing out in front of us and we understand what good composition is or what beautiful cinematic composition might feel like or look like. So we can still frame things in that way. But I think more and more couples are not wanting to feel like they are cookie cutter clients. Like I think that is how we're moving. Maybe millennials were more cookie cutter, and I don't, like, I'm a millennial, so I don't mean any like shade. But I think Gen Z wants a little bit more of that autonomy or more of the individualized experience. Yeah, approaching every single day with its own specific unique world, I think is the biggest part for sure.
Yeah, I get that. That's cool. In terms of like major influences that you've taken away from recently, what's been like the kind of biggest that you've chatted about in Movie Club?
Oh wow. Okay. There's like so many. So I just got off a call with the group literally 20 minutes ago. And we were talking about revisiting old movies that we watched maybe when we were younger. Or you know how you always claim there's like a favorite movie? You're like, oh, that's my favorite movie. I love that. And then you actually haven't seen it in like 15, 16, 25 years, right? So I had that with the movie Inception, where I was like, oh yeah, Inception's one of my favorite films. And then I looked at when it came out and I realized I haven't watched it since it came out. It came out 16 years ago. Like I have not watched it. Yeah, you're
what? That's not 16 years. That's not right.
2010.
That's not right.
2010.
That is
I know.
Ridiculous.
I know. And so if you haven't watched it since it first came out, you've probably forgotten a lot of it. Like, not to say that like you're, you know, getting old and your memory's going or anything.
I mean, clearly that is where we're leading here.
Yeah, you probably forgot so much of it. And so that was really interesting to dig back into these old movies that were like, oh yeah, they're our favorites. And some, for some of the people at Film Club, some were really problematic when they went back and rewatched these movies. They're like, whoa, that movie would not get made today. There's so many problematic elements to that film. Or even just little things like the CGI just being so, like, you see it now and you're just like, this is so bad.
Yeah.
So it was an interesting conversation, but with not remembering the film, we also had this challenge of going back through our old work and revisiting weddings from, say, 2016 or 2018 or even 2020, like just going back. There were no weddings in 2020, but you know what I mean? Going back and looking at these weddings and rediscovering images that maybe we passed by 5 years ago, 8 years ago. that now we kind of see in a different way, or we connect with them in a different way. So there was this beautiful photo of these two grandparents sitting at this table that I completely passed through the first time around. I delivered it to the client, but I didn't share it online anywhere. I didn't use it in the blog post. I didn't do anything with it. And now it's like literally on the homepage of my website. I was like, how could I have not realized that this is such a beautiful image? So just, I don't know, like being really curious about our work and revisiting these things and attaching that to cinema and these references. It's been really cool. So that's been the most interesting thing lately, for sure. So everyone's repopulating their websites at the moment in Film Club. We're all just like either burning it all down and, not just taking everything off, or just figuring out like, who are we speaking to? Who do we want to be working with? How do we want our images to feel, and the whole world that people are stepping into when they get to our websites? What do we want them to feel when they enter into that space? Is there confusion around the imagery? Do they see one image and another and think, well, what am I going to get on my wedding day? Like, these are very different. So yeah, just lots of different conversations.
Yeah. Staying on Inception just for a minute, because it is actually one of my favorite movies of all time. Please
Okay.
tell me it's aged well.
It has aged so well. Like, I was so pleasantly surprised. I didn't realize until after I watched it that it was from 2010. And I was like, that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Fair.
has aged really, really well. And the true test for me when watching any movie is, did I pick up my phone at all through the movie? And for that, I did not pick up my phone once. I did not have a second screen on for the whole thing. So it held my attention. It's beautiful. So good.
I know.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan is a great director. It's really
Yeah.
interesting though when you like, obviously, he did the Batman trilogy, and they were for a long time like my favorite superhero movies. But then you get to, like, you're at this age. Oh God, you're old now, and so you're seeing these characters in different movies with different points of view or perspectives from different directors. And like, I
Yeah.
look at the Batman now, and I'm like, that's how I feel a Batman film should be. Like, the lenses are dirty,
Yep.
like it was shot with old vintage glass that had to get rehoused.
Yep.
Whereas Christopher Nolan, very clean, methodical, very pristine framing. Like, everything's
Yep.
so different. And
It's so different.
it's
Yeah. Yeah.
mm.
I did a comparison of that recently on a little webinar that I did, and we
Oh,
looked at
really?
the different Batmans. So we kind of
Yeah,
compared
okay.
Tim Burton to Matt Reeves to
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan, and even just looking back through like the older, like more
Yeah.
comical, true to comic book style of the TV
Yeah.
shows. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's fascinating. But that really, I think that also leads into this idea of world building, because if you look at Tim Burton's
Mm.
Batman, of course, that's how he perceives Batman to be and the world
Yeah.
of Gotham City to look like. It's so consistent with every other world he's ever built. And the same with Christopher Nolan. It's like, of course, that's how Gotham City would look and feel. So it's interesting. I love that.
Yeah.
It's like if you had a wedding, and then you had 5 different photographers who have like really distinct styles. You can almost predict how they're going to document that wedding, or how they're going to approach the wedding. You can almost like pre-visualize what their imagery might look like from that, which is really cool.
Yeah. Does that is that hard when you go to a wedding and you're world building for the client to keep a brand that's coherent, or does the branding come through you as the creative filter? Like, you're making the world, the art's coming through you. Is that
Yeah.
ever a
That's a
worry?
it's a really good question. I'd be curious to know what you guys think of that too, like just based on video work. I feel like when I was younger, I used to go into a wedding with like this preconceived idea of how I wanted it to look visually. And I would almost like fight against my own natural style that was coming from me, through me, like you're saying.
Yeah.
And I'd look at my images and I'd be like, no, they're not what I want. They don't look like Jonas Peterson's or whoever was like big at the time, Sam Hurd,
Yeah.
or like, the big photographers of 2014 or whatever it was. And yeah, like I would fight against it. And then I think maybe around like 16-ish, I finally was like, that's because this is my style. Like, this is the way that I naturally kind of flow through the day and shoot and intuitively press the shutter. And you can't fight that. Like, I think a lot of people fight against it because they're trying to look like something else or someone else. And I think once you just give in and you're like, oh, this is me, as long as you have, different references or inspiration that are maybe outside of the industry, I think that can come through a lot quicker. You can expedite the process a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if you want longevity in this business, trying to replicate someone else's work is not going to, it's not a way to have a long career in this industry.
No. And I think it ends up being confusing because you're likely going to end up with work that is your own, that is true to you on your website, as well as these like replicated pieces that actually aren't you at all. They're, the photographer in Toronto or Edinburgh that you admire. So that, I think that was probably another reason for stripping down my website and taking a lot of things off that just didn't feel like me anymore. It didn't feel like it was true to me. And I do this every single year. At the beginning of the year or end of the year, I will go through and I'll review every single image in my portfolio. And I'll ask myself, specifically, do I believe this image? Like, does this feel real to me? Does this feel honest to me? Even if it's just a portrait, it's like it has to feel believable in some way. So that's been my new filter, I guess, for whether an image stays or is removed from my website.
Yeah.
Go on.
Sorry. I know. I was just going to say,
I don't think enough photographers are reviewing their portfolios regularly enough. I think
I agree.
Because we have Instagram and TikTok, I think portfolios kind of get left as like the last sort of, it's like, oh no, I've got a great portfolio. And a lot of photographers don't even know what's in their portfolio. Like if you were to think right now, like what images are in there? And one of the reasons why, actually, during our last podcast, when you did the show and tell, you pulled up images where I was like, oh shit, I didn't know that was on my portfolio.
Yeah.
I should probably take that off. So yeah, it's good. It's really good. If you are a photographer listening and you have no idea what's in your portfolio, I would start at the bottom, scroll right down to the very bottom and see what's living down there, because I bet it's not your current best work.
Yes. I mean, like you said, like social media is another focus, but social media has also trained us just to leave stuff, because the internet just like recycles through. So, no one's going to go down to the bottom of your feed hardly ever, unless they're like a major fan. But, so yeah, I suppose maybe a mindset shift is needed.
I would argue though, I would say a bride or a groom, more so probably a bride, will go through they will consume every single thing that you have. It's so funny because I had a call with a bride yesterday or 2 days ago, and she listened to our podcast. She's just a prospective wedding client, but she listened to this podcast that we did 3 years ago. And she was like, so you mentioned in that podcast that this is, she'll probably listen to this one too. Bless her. She's amazing. She did her homework. But I truly believe she has probably seen every image that I've ever shot. And I do think that brides are doing their homework. I think they're looking through your portfolios. They're going right to the bottom. So clean it up. Clean it up. I beg of you.
That is amazing. Well, shout out to her. Hi, if you're listening.
Yeah, shout out to Catherine. Catherine, if you're listening, she'll love it.
That's amazing. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. So, Film Club, for those who are intrigued, like, where can they find out more information? How much is it?
Yeah, so it is, you can go to, it's on Instagram, but you can also go to joinfilmclub.com and you can get all the information there. And I will actually give a special code to your listeners if they're interested for $1,000 off. So it is $19.97 USD, which gives you lifetime access and membership. But with the $1,000 off, it's $9.97. There's payment plans. You can do 4 payments if you'd like. Yeah. So I'll leave that with you guys at the end of this.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We'll put that in the show notes. Thank you.
Definitely, it'll be in the show notes. So going to your clients then, obviously your work has changed. Was that just creatively, or was that in an attempt to reach different clients?
So both. I
Mhm.
think that the work hasn't necessarily changed. I think I've just streamlined what was already there. So the sort of style that I'm showcasing now, or the work that I'm showcasing now, it has always been there. It's just been hidden amongst many other things that maybe weren't necessarily me. And I
Mhm.
think by stripping that all away, now we see like, oh, okay. Because I actually have a lot of older work on my portfolio, things from 2017, 2018, like a lot of
Okay.
older stuff, and it's always been there, but there was a lot of and actually we talked about this in the last one too. There was a lot of that sort of, what is it called? Dirty boots, messy hair, that era of,
Oh,
I think it
yeah.
was like 2018, that was really cool.
Yeah.
And so I was doing like really gritty rock and roll kind of vibes, and that is not me. Like, I think I was just trying to appeal to a certain audience, and I was trying to appeal to many audiences.
Mm.
And through, I guess, the past couple years, I've just had time to think about, well, what are my hobbies and what do I really enjoy? And what do my favorite clients that I've ever had, what do they do and what do they love and enjoy and what are their values? So just a lot of homework, I guess, on this idea of ideal client, which I think gets a bad rep. Like, I think the term, some people are like, oh, everyone should be an ideal client. But I think that it does create confusion. Like, if you're marketing to
Yeah.
everyone, it's watering things down a little bit. So I just became a little bit more specific about that
Mm.
and took out anything that didn't match that fit. And I also, my prices went up a little bit, and I just wanted to make sure that things sort of felt in line with that as well.
What were you charging
Yeah.
before? Did we
Ah,
did we talk about your pricing before?
yeah, I wanna say it was maybe 7,000 Canadian, roughly, like,
Yeah.
average.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it
that's
was
gone
sort of
up to
so the average is around 12,000
okay.
now.
So
Anywhere
quite a good jump.
between, it's a big jump.
It's a good jump.
Yeah, and okay, so here's the other thing is that, a lot of people will say you should go up incrementally, like small steps up and this
Oh
and that.
no.
And there's a lot of advice around pricing. Like, there's just
Yeah.
so much, and I don't know if anyone's truly an expert. Like, I think that you have to do what's right for your business.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, like, you have to make these decisions. And I had feedback from a couple clients basically saying we would have paid double what you're charging. You're not charging enough, and so
Mm.
that was really great feedback to hear.
That's always nice to hear.
Yeah, really, really nice. And
Mhm.
I also had feedback from a mentor that I had some mentoring from, and
Mhm.
she gave the same advice. She said, "You're not charging nearly enough. Like, you're undercharging for the market that you're appealing to." So it's interesting too, because I think with every market there's the middle market. There's sort of
Mhm.
the pricing dead zone, I think a lot of people call it, where everybody is in that middle market because
Mm.
it's safe and it's what everyone is charging. So everyone just kind of huddles around. Like, if you looked at those like graphs or whatnot, like that would be the biggest.
Mhm.
What am I saying? My brain isn't doing math today.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, there'd be a lot.
It's where people are scared into.
Yeah. They're all
That's the
congregating in that
price.
area.
Yeah, so there's
Yeah.
lots of people on the low end. Of course, there's always going to be people that are charging next to nothing, and then there's always
Sure.
going to be people who are charging crazy amounts. Like Jose Villa charges up to $100,000 for a weekend wedding. So there's so
Oof.
much. There's such a wide spectrum, but I think most people they look at what everyone else is doing and then they
Mm.
stay in that safe zone. And the problem
Yeah.
with that is that you then are creating so much competition for yourself if you're not differentiating with your work. And
Mhm.
so there's like maybe it's like one of those, like, what came first, the chicken or the egg, where you either change the way that you present yourself and your brand to highlight yourself and sort of step away from that middle as far as
Mm.
appearance, or you step away with your price. Ideally, you do both. Like, that would
Yeah.
be the ideal situation, is you elevate everything, you create a better client experience, and then you can kind of increase your pricing as well. But it was very fascinating that as soon as I did step up to a higher price, I it's extremely rare now that I get anyone saying, "Oh, we've gone in another direction based on pricing." Like, I
Yeah.
don't hear that anymore. It was very common when I was in more of a middle market zone. So there was a lot more comparison across the board, whereas now there
Yeah.
doesn't seem to be as much. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's been my findings. I don't know. I feel like my whole career has just been research. Like I'm just doing research every year. Like it's just I'm experimenting. I really don't know what I'm doing, but it seems to be working. So
I mean, to be fair, that's how we really should be, you know,
yeah,
keep things ticking on, keep learning, keep discovering yourself. Yeah, because
totally.
Yeah.
I feel like, especially because this is a very, well, at least here anyway, it's a very seasonal industry. You know, like our
Yeah.
summers are absolutely rammed, but then when it comes to winter, we're like, what? Where are all the
Yeah.
bookings? Which I'm happy with. Like, I love Christmas, I love the rest, but
Yeah.
you know, you can come out of hibernation, as I say, and just be like looking at your camera, going, "Where's the buttons?" You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
I
and
have a wedding
just yeah.
on Saturday in 2 days, and I said to Dustin the other day, I was like, I feel like I'm out of practice. Like I feel like I need to just spend a day walking around my town and just take photos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I relate. I can see that. But also there's a really exciting feeling at the beginning of the season, isn't there? Where it's like you're just so eager to create something. That's
Yeah.
how I feel anyway. I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting that so much has changed, and it sounds like it's mostly from just curating your work rather
Yeah.
than major changes in your approach to shooting or anything like
Yeah.
that. Did you make any big changes in terms of how you shoot a wedding or how you approach a wedding?
Yeah. I mean, I guess there have been a few in terms of that. So one thing one thing that I kind of cringed when I listened to back on our podcast was I was saying that I don't do any like with family photos. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm usually out in a field and people are just in a line." And that's not relevant anymore at all. Like that isn't the case. Generally I do have a little bit more like editorial or Vogue Vanity Fair style family portraits now. We have chairs. So that's changed, which is interesting. And I think it's just the weddings that I'm photographing have changed a little bit, which is really cool. But yeah, when it comes to engagement shoots, I used to plan out these like really elaborate conceptual stories. And I think that there's still a place for that, especially in styled shoots or, editorial, creative, conceptual shoots. But I think I've stepped back a little bit in the sense that I just want to document them very naturally and organically. So an example of an engagement shoot now isn't so much like piecing together this, scene by scene story. It's more so like, let's go do this. How do we want it to feel? Like, do we want it to feel like a rom-com or do we want it to feel like a romance movie or, what is the world that we're creating? And so recently I did an engagement shoot. It was an outdoor winter engagement shoot and the couple said that they really loved the movie When Harry Met Sally. And so we were kind of referencing this sort of 90s rom-com feel. And really, I just kind of coached them and said, I'm just going to be your friend that's hanging out with you with a camera. And so we're just going to hang out, walk the streets. I'm going to take cool photos of you. And it was just a different, rather than more of a directorial approach, it was just more of a fun, well, I was still influencing it energetically because I think as photographers, I think it's really hard to just be truly a fly on the wall. Like I know a lot of people want to do that, but your presence automatically is going to influence people in some way. Like you're standing there with a camera, they're going to feel that. So yeah, it's just sort of, I guess you're guiding a little bit in terms of just your energy and your presence, but it's not so much like a scene by scene scenario. And the same with weddings. I think I go in more with like a mindset, but I don't speak it out loud as much. It's more so just in my head and in my actions and the way that I'm shooting. As an example, there was a wedding recently where the bride referenced that she loves the old 90s Martha Stewart weddings kind of aesthetic or like
yeah.
the old book. I don't know if you remember, there's like this beautiful, it's just called Martha Stewart Weddings. She's like the original sort of influencer when it comes to weddings. Like she was showcasing photographers' work long before social media. And so in this book, it's really beautiful. It's laid out in such a gorgeous way. And every photo I looked at could hold today. Like it is still very relevant. And so I just took on this approach that I was working for Martha Stewart Weddings. showing up to this wedding, and I was documenting it for Martha Stewart weddings. And that was really cool. And it didn't take away from them or their story at all. It just sort of elevated my own experience and allowed me to, I don't know, float through the day in a different way. And the photos look very reminiscent of a Martha Stewart weddings.
Yeah.
Anyway, that just, again, curiosity and playfulness and just experimenting without, risking the integrity of the wedding, of course.
When you said
Yeah.
storyboarding there, were you previously going to weddings with like an idea in your head of I don't want to say a shot list, but like I know, for example, you have been influenced. What was it? Did it happen in the last podcast? There was that movie that you recreated in a couple's session. I want to say is it Tar?
Yeah.
Is that the movie?
Yeah. So I didn't actually specifically recreate that. I had watched the movie the night before shooting that engagement session.
Right. Okay.
And I didn't go in thinking I'm going to make this look like Tar, but it just so happened that after the fact, when I was editing the images, I was like, oh my God, these look identical to Tar. No, with that one, we had like a storyline, but I don't ever bring that into weddings. I would never bring in like storyboarding for a wedding. I think the wedding is already storyboarded. So it's more so I'm just coming in to something already created, which is really fun.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because we've had other photographers on here that have taken the more creative director approach, and they do that.
Yeah.
Has that ever been a part of something? Has that ever been? Have you wanted to always avoid that sort of control at a wedding, or is it just naturally just doesn't feel like you want to do that to someone's wedding?
I would say that it is always it's always a collaborative situation, and it depends on the client. Like it's
Okay.
always client dependent. So I've had some clients who have like what we call main character energy. Like they just exude this confidence and this kind of like diva is a good word in our house, but like diva energy. Like they're like, yeah, photograph me. I'm ready. Like they're just so on. And I love those clients. They're my favorite. They're so fun because they have the confidence of like a celebrity. So you feel like you're photographing a celebrity wedding. And with those, it is sort of more collaborative where they're like, okay, I want this to be like this moment. Like I want this scene to be like this. And like they come to me with the ideas, which is really cool. And so I'm just kind of working with them. Like they're the writer of the story and I'm just going to kind of help facilitate it. But it's always like when we're approaching a wedding or when I'm approaching a wedding, I always just think of it as an enhanced version of who they are and what the day naturally is going to be. So if they are really shy and quiet and reserved and they don't really want a lot of like production or, orchestrating, I don't do that like at all. It just depends on the client. And I really try to understand what their needs are beforehand and understand what is going to work best for them. But I think stylistically, it will always kind of look the same, even though my approach might be a little bit different depending on the client.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you mentioned more of production elements, like how much production are you putting into like a client who wants it? Like, are you bringing props? Are you lighting stuff? Like, how far does that go?
Yeah, I can give an example. There was a bride whose wedding I photographed last year, and she had that main character energy. She knew exactly what she wanted for her wedding photos. Like she had them already kind of preconceived. And I think that's scary to a lot of photographers or videographers. Like that would be kind of terrifying because it's like, what if I don't meet those expectations? But I really like that. Like I like a type A bride who knows exactly what she wants. That to me is so much easier to work with because I can just say like, yeah, let's do that. And I know that she's on board. I know that she'll really be like actively participating. And I say she, and I don't mean to say that grooms aren't also on board or,
I
couples
know,
in general aren't.
so sexist.
I
There,
know.
so sexist.
This is just the
Shocking.
one example, the one example that I'm thinking of. But yeah, she knew like wardrobe for each moment. Like she had different outfits picked out. So for getting ready, and then she moved into a different outfit and a different room. And then
Mhm.
she wanted to have a phone call with her grandmother who had passed away. So she had this old vintage phone and she wanted to sit on the ground beside her dress and call her grandmother. So she had already planned out these scenes.
Okay.
And what we did was we actually had a production call, which most of the time I will do with
Mhm.
regardless of what the client's needs are. I think a production call is really important to just get everyone on the same page. Wedding planner, videographers, couple, and myself. We'll
Mm.
just get together on a call. If there's a content creator, we'll bring them in as well. But just so everyone knows what the goal is of the day. Like
Mm.
we're all like a team working together. And with
Yep.
those types of clients, they're so on board. Like they love those calls. So we talk about lighting. Like we were like, okay, so for this moment where she's sitting on the floor talking on the phone, like how is this going to be lit? So the videographer was on the call. I was able to ask, like, are you going to bring lights? Should I bring lights? Like, what are we doing? How are we lighting this?
Mhm.
For the ceremony, the bride was like, I don't want it to be super bright. I want it to feel like candlelight. And I was like, cool.
Mm.
Should we light it a little though, just so that, just having these conversations so that it isn't after the fact, you're like, oh, I hate that, or that didn't work out, or
Mhm.
whatever. So it's just managing the expectations, but in this really fun, playful way that feels collaborative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
these production calls, are those something that you're suggesting, or is it the planners you're working with, or the couple?
I would
Like
say,
who's
yeah,
organizing them?
I would say both. A lot of planners here anyway, a lot of planners do recommend that we have a call before the wedding to just go over and review. We just go through the timeline and we just
Yeah.
kind of go like point by point. What's going to happen? Is this okay for you? Like they'll ask, is this enough time for you, Jen? Does this work? I'll ask the clients, like, do you want to be away for your whole cocktail hour? Do you want to be doing
Mhm.
photos for that? Do you want to be part of your cocktail hour? Like I don't know. I just think it's a nice way to make sure that everyone knows what is going on. Even with sometimes video and photo might be on different pages. I'm sure you guys have experienced this before where it's like maybe you have two different ideas of how the day is going to unfold and then
Yeah.
there's like a weird I want us to all just
Mhm.
be a team and like work towards this goal together. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember this the one time. I actually can't remember the wedding, but I do remember working alongside another photographer who was like the light and airy, and we're like not that. But
Yeah.
our approaches in general were fairly similar. Just strangely enough, we
Yeah.
actually worked pretty well together, so it was quite nice. But I think we got lucky in that regard. And there
Yeah.
wasn't a production meeting. There wasn't any of that. And so yeah,
It is nice, yeah.
yeah.
I've had some where the videographers aren't on the call, and I'm kinda disappointed because then I know what the bride wants, or what the couple
Mm,
wants, and the planner knows what the couple wants, but maybe the video team comes in with their own idea of what the day is going to feel like or look like, or could be the other way around, like, it could be
yeah.
completely other way around, so it's just
Mm.
nice to be on the same page.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I would hate to be missing out on a creative call if everyone
Right?
else is on it. Jeez. Oh,
Yeah.
you imagine showing up to that wedding. You'd be so like, I don't know, just not part of the team. I don't know. It would not. The vibes would not be good right off the bat.
Yeah, you have to be
For
part of the call.
yeah, be part of the call. It's funny.
So
Like on you,
on
on
you
you
go.
go, Greg. On you go.
I
I
was
was
just
just
gonna
gonna
ask,
say.
like,
Oh my God, this delay. This delay. You go, Greg. You go.
I was just gonna talk about like when you're on a call with just a couple, so you're getting to know them more
Yeah.
personally or whatever. Like what sort of stuff are you talking with them about to get to know them and to get to know their vision for the day and stuff?
Yeah, so oh my god, so many things. I talk to people like if this is like the initial client call, like I've just got on to the call, I'm seeing them for the first time. It's very like I want to say casual. It's still professional, but it's casual
Mhm.
in the sense of I'm not just getting on and being like, okay, so how did you meet? Like I'm not asking these like pre sort of determined questions or like scripted
Uh-huh.
questions that I think some people might feel more comfortable leaning into. I just sometimes I'll notice their background in their room and be like, "Whoa, what's that art on your wall? That's so cool." Like I'll just talk to them like they're my friend,
Mhm.
and that approach works really well for me. It might not work for others, but it's how I like to, flow through it. It feels natural and organic. And then I'll just ask them questions. I say like, how are you guys doing with wedding planning? Are you feeling good? Do you need any advice? Like outside of photography, do you need any recommendations or anything like that? Let me know if I can help you. Just, I don't know, coming in like a big sister energy, more so just being like, how can I help? Like I've, seen a lot of these and that really helps. And then I guess through just organic conversation, you end up learning a lot. You end up learning all sorts of things. I ask them, what family is going to be there? Is family a really big part of the day? Is there a wedding party? Like, what do you really hope to get out of the day? Like, what do you value? I don't know, just like random. Nothing is sort of like pre-scripted though. It's a little bit more organic. Honestly, I think if you just go into the conversation truly just being curious about these people and just being like, who are these people? Like, what are they all about? What does their life look
you're not
like?
going in like trying to find out what their favorite movie is so that you can just go and watch that before the day or anything.
Well, interestingly enough, I do have that on my contact form. It is something that it's an optional thing on my contact form where at the very end I just say optional, tell me your favorite movie. I love movies. I love to know what other people's favorite films are. So it is on there, and that sometimes does bring up really great conversations, but oftentimes it's just like random, like we'll just talk about the weather, which sounds really lame, but like we just had a lot of snow. We had like a polar vortex, I think it was called, in this area. So I think Ontario was the coldest place on Earth on this one specific day recently, colder than Siberia, colder than the Arctic, which is really crazy. So yeah, a lot of my calls lately have been like, hey, so have your pipes frozen? How are you doing? Like, are you warm? I don't know. Just being human, I think is so important. And I think a lot of people forget that because they get nervous.
We're going to interrupt this podcast to bring you an advertisement for PickTime. Our buddies at PickTime, we love PickTime. If you want to elevate your business, PickTime's maybe the way to do it.
It's an online gallery delivery service.
It's a really good looking one, which is initially how we got into the service. It just looks better than all the other kind of platforms that we personally use.
Yeah. We've over time got to know the owners, got to know the people behind it. Lovely people, great support system there as well.
There's just so many tools at your fingertips with PickTime, but the marketing and the blogs and the slideshow features.
Yeah, there's so much more than just a gallery delivery service. You've got all those things that Simon was talking about. You can create your own blog from it. You can create slideshows. One new feature that I really love is the vendor network. It's where you can use AI to curate a gallery for a specific supplier. So you could use AI to gather all the photos of the flowers and send them to the florist, and they would have that gallery specific just for them.
It's kind of a mind-blowing feature.
Yeah.
And we might as well be taking advantage of AI before the uprising and it starts taking advantage of us. So let's just all bear that in mind.
Yeah, and not to mention the built-in store, and that way you can just make more money while also having a nice, aesthetically pretty gallery.
Yeah. And if you want to sign up today, you can get a free month if you use Perspective at checkout.
Yeah.
So if you want to test it out for free for a month, go for it.
Take your business to the next level with PickTime. So we talked about like the market you're working in, the sort of price range you're at. What are you offering your couples like as your sort of standard package or whatever? Do you include the engagement sessions as standard? Tell us a bit more about what you provide.
Sure. Yeah. So I switched over to more of an all-inclusive package. So I basically have 3 options. I do a half day, which is 6 hours, one photographer, and that is more meant for like a very small, intimate, maybe a city hall wedding with a dinner after or something like that. Like it's more for a smaller situation. And then the next one up is full day coverage, 2 photographers. So obviously that's a huge jump. Like there's a very big difference in that. And full day is like, it's all inclusive full day. So it could be 10 hours, it could be 12, it could be 14 hours. It's kind of anywhere in that range. If someone came to me and, they said, we're having a smaller wedding, it's, a little smaller intimate, but we want 8 hours. Can you, figure that out for us? I can put something together, that's somewhere in between for sure. But I think having those 2 has been really nice. And then I have a weekend package, which is like a multi-day 2-day weekend package. And then beyond that, there's like like a luxe package, which is around 18,000. And it includes an engagement shoot as well as multi-day weekend coverage.
Mhm.
And travel is included in that as well within Ontario. So
Yeah.
yeah, the engagement shoots are not typically included, though they are discounted or there's like an offering price if someone is a
Yeah.
wedding client. So typically they're $2,500 for an engagement
Mhm.
session, but I do half price for clients who are booking a wedding. So that's
Yeah.
kind of the offerings. But the all inclusive is so nice because I've had so many clients, and I'm sure you guys have seen this too, where they're like, "Oh, like things are running behind, and like I know you're on the clock, and you've got to leave in 30 minutes.
Oh.
I'm like, well, we're gonna have to pay you for an extra hour." And like it's so like what a burden for a client to feel on their wedding day, or even just
Mhm.
for you as a photographer or a videographer. You've charged X amount of dollars for one, and then this it doesn't seem fair to the other clients who have paid more, and are you going to offer that extra hour for free and just stick around? Or I don't know. It's eliminated all of that, and it
Mhm.
just feels really nice. It's like now I just have the tools that I need to tell the story of the day. I have whatever time coverage I need. I'll show up when it feels appropriate to show up, and I will leave when it feels appropriate to leave to tell the story of your day to the best of my ability. So,
Mm. Is that ever
yeah.
hard to know when is a good time to leave or start, or do you
Not
ever
really, no, because I think we
no?
naturally do it anyway, right? Like, because what I was finding was, let's say I had a wedding that was from 12 o'clock till 10 o'clock. Like that was the time frame. That was what they booked me for 10 hours from
Mm.
12 to 10. Realistically, I'm not showing up right at 12 o'clock. I'm probably going to show up at 11:30, maybe even
Yeah.
11, because I want to pre-scout the location. Maybe I want to take some time with some details. Maybe I want to meet some people. So I'm already showing up an hour early. It's now an 11-hour wedding. If things run behind and they don't get on the dance floor until 10, I always feel too bad being like, "Oh, sorry, I'm going to have to charge you for another hour." So I'm always like,
Yeah.
"No problem. I'll stay. I'll cover the first dance and a little bit of the dance." So then it ends up being a 12-hour day anyway.
Mhm.
So I just found this kept happening over and over and over again. Meanwhile, I would have clients that were paying a more premium price for that 12-hour package, and it just didn't feel fair. And at
Mhm.
the end of the day, I just want to show up and just do my job to the best of my ability with the hours I need, regardless of what that amount is. So yeah,
Mm.
I haven't had anyone question it. I'm booked out for 2026 now, and starting to book for 2027. And no one has really said, like, this doesn't make sense. Everyone's very accepting of it and understanding. And
Yeah.
really, I think it is a benefit. Like, I think it benefits the couple in the long run because they have that
Mm.
insurance of, if things do run behind, it's fine. Like, we don't have to worry about Jen. She'll be here
Yeah.
regardless.
What's
So
what's the standard over there where you are? In fact, now that I think about it, what's the standard over here? Like, are people charging for like 8-hour packages, 10-hour packages, a certain hour coverage? I'd be intrigued to hear, like, listeners from you. But Jen,
yeah.
what's it like over there with you?
I think the like three-tiered structure is pretty
Hmm.
common, like having an
Okay.
8, a 10, a 12. Like I've
Hmm.
seen that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be the most common. Some people do half day, full day. I thought shifting it to doing the half day, full day, and then weekend
Hmm.
just kind of expanded it a little bit. And I don't know, I'm of this mindset that like if you want more money, you have to create an offering to have that money. Like you can't just like want more money but not create an offering for it to come to you. Like it needs a route to get to you. So
Yeah.
I think by creating, that this highest package that I have that just includes everything, and people are booking it, it's like, oh, okay, I just created a little avenue for that money to come to me. That's
Hmm.
great. So I think the more that we can do that, even if it is just this crazy offering where you're like, I'm just going to throw in everything and make it be crazy,
Hmm.
put whatever price tag on. I think it's smart. Like I
Yeah.
think and with anything, with education as well. I always say that to anyone I mentor, for educational purposes who wants to get into education or mentoring or running workshops or anything is you have to have little like portals. I picture Marvel and like the portals opening
Yeah.
up, and like the more portals you have for money to come to you, the better. So it's, I don't know. That's my weird take on business, is that you just have to
Yes.
have more offerings and more portals.
Okay. By the way, is your second shooter Maria? Is that her name? You said you second shoot was someone? Is it
No.
Maria? Have I got the name wrong?
Like, wait, who's Maria?
It's another photographer that I thought she was your second shooter, but she might be someone else's. I'm not
Oh,
sure. But Maria
I have
Nomad?
no, but I know her. She took photos of me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it was through you then that I found her name. Anyway, I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of her work. It's beautiful.
Her work is beautiful. It's very
Oh my
Peter
God.
Lindbergh. I love it. Yes,
It's stunning.
she's great.
I want her on the podcast as well. Can you put in a good word?
She's amazing. Yeah, absolutely. I'll connect you. She's so great. So I found her. She had done, brand photos for another photographer friend of mine. And then I went to her to get some brand photos taken. And her approach is just so, like, it felt so different and refreshing from
Yeah.
anything I had ever experienced from being photographed. She's very hands-on with direction and her approach. And she has a very specific idea of what she wants for every single photo. It's not really so much like these organic natural moments. It's more like she has it in her head, and she's so good at being like, this is exactly what I want. And then she
Yeah.
like puts you in this pose and you just feel like you're, a celebrity. It's very cool. So
That's interesting. Having the approaches so different from yours, getting photographs taken in that way. Did it like I'm sure you had a positive experience, but like, was any part of
Yeah.
you going, "Oh, this isn't quite right," or did you feel different, or did you just have full trust?
Oh, I gave her full control. I definitely had full trust. I just walked in and was like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I didn't want to try and micromanage and be like, okay,
Uh-huh.
well, I need to make sure I have a photo like this. And I just
Yeah.
wanted her, because I hate that, when
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
photographing someone and they come to you with their list of like, I want, a photo in my blazer, hold it like, business, whatever. I just wanted her to have fun and play and give her that creative freedom, because I know that that's how we create our best work. So I was really open. I ended up half naked in a lot of the photos, which obviously are not online. But
I don't remember
I was just
seeing
like,
those.
no, they're not online. They're not. It's funny because I went in with the purpose of like, I need a new headshot for my Instagram, and then 50% of the photos are not safe for work. So, but it was great. Like, it was a really fun experience. I don't know if it's like super transferable to the wedding world though. Like, I feel like it's really cool for a very specific fine art portrait session, because she truly makes you look and feel like you're a supermodel. Like, it was really, she's very intense and very hands-on in the best way.
Yeah.
So yeah, very different from my approach for sure. But yeah, she's a very cool photographer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you take away anything from it on a creative level, or?
Yeah, I mean, so she referenced her mood board a lot, which I thought was really cool, because I think a lot of photographers shy away from that. It's like they don't want to be like found out that they have inspiration that is not from their own mind, you know? And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
that she was just so open. Like, she had her iPad and she just kept referencing certain photos, and she's like, let's do something like this. I think you could do this really well. And I was like, cool, let's do it. So I
Yeah.
liked that. Like, it kind of, because I think it feels sort of like a taboo thing that we're not supposed to do, you know? But it was really cool. I loved it. I thought that was really cool.
Cool.
So that was a take home. Her studio space is great, and I ended up renting her studio space like a month later to do my own shoot there with a client. So just the studio space alone was really inspiring, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe I need a studio now. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. I mean, I know you said that in jest, but would you get a studio space of your own?
Yeah, I'm currently in the process of looking. Don't
Ooh.
know. I'm on the fence right now.
Yeah.
It's a big expense.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Yeah,
is.
there's a few in Toronto that are really appealing at the moment, and I'm gonna check them out in the next few weeks. So I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted. But yeah, I think
Yeah, that'd be cool.
it would be really cool. But in the meantime, I'll definitely be using her studio space, because it's really
Yeah.
beautiful. It's called Nomad Studio for anyone local to Toronto who's looking for a studio.
Have you already done a few shoots in there?
I've done one. Yeah, I did the one. There was like a ballet dancer that I recently photographed there.
There
Black and
wasn't.
white.
It wasn't like you took a picture of like a. It wasn't like a clothes stand or something.
Oh, that was a studio in Toronto called Fieldwork. Also
Okay.
really incredible. Very different. Both of
I've-
them have very different vibes.
Yeah.
Fieldwork is beautiful. They have that like
Okay.
beautiful like lime washed wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
anyone looking for studios in Toronto, Fieldwork and Nomad Studio. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look really cool.
Yeah. You've obviously had a long career so far, and you've got a long career ahead of you. Like, for someone who's new in the industry and they want to try and have longevity in the industry, what advice would you have for them?
Oh my gosh. That's such a hard question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of it's just shifted. Things have changed so much. So I think the advice that I would have given someone 10 years ago is very different than the advice today, maybe. Oh man. Like I think the consistent ones would obviously be try to discover your own style, try to discover what you love and like lean into it.
Mhm.
Don't be discouraged by your style or like the whatever thing is coming out of you naturally, just embrace it and maybe be curious about it rather than thinking that it's not good enough. I think of there's a situation that I had recently where I was in Barcelona with Karamia. I don't know if you guys have had Karamia on the show before, but
No.
okay,
No.
she's amazing. You should look her
No,
up.
I'm
She's
sure we've not, but
she's so talented.
No.
She's so wonderful. And we were in Barcelona together. We went to a church and we were, wandering around this beautiful church, taking photos. And she's got her like camera. She's just taking photos with her iPhone. And I was watching her and admiring the way that she was seeing the world. And I was just like really drawn to watching her. And she's taking all these like cool photos of like colorful things, just like really weird, interesting things. And that's not me. Like I'm not, look at my grid. I'm not a color photographer at all. And so I remember like looking at that being like feeling kind of like this moment of I'm not as creative as her. Like I am not a creative photographer because I'm not seeing what she's seeing. And I was really fixated on that for like I don't know, maybe like 6 minutes. I was just like, why am I not creative? And then I was like, okay, I need to like I need to explore this place on my own without her just for a moment and see what I see. And I started just taking photos with my iPhone and they ended up being these like really cool black and whites of people. Like I was just people watching, getting these cool photos. And our photos that we saw that day were so wildly different. But if I had continued fixating on that and thinking like, okay, I need to be like this, I need to be like this, I would have started to take these colorful, photos of shapes and light fractals and things like that she was seeing. But like, what am I going to do with that? Also, it's just going to be this weird knockoff of what she was doing. So yeah, I think that was a really cool moment of reflection where I was like, "Oh, right. I have to just lean into my thing, like not
That's right.
focus on this. Appreciate it, but don't what's the word? Replicate, right?"
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we haven't had her on the podcast, but I remember because I've still got the notebook from the Edinburgh thing that we were doing, and you mentioned you mentioned her and that story of
Yeah.
I was like, hang on, why do I know this? Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
super
interesting. I think that there's a lot of and I don't know if it's more so now than it was before, or maybe there's just so many photographers and we're just seeing so many people's work so much because of social media. But it seems like there's a lot more mimicking of others' work. I think maybe that's always been the case. But yeah, just like lean into trying your own things. And even if you do sample, because I do think that in the early stages, I think it's good in art as well. Like I think it's good to explore and try on other styles and see what fits, see what feels aligned. So yeah, like explore, do the things that are trendy, try the things. It doesn't necessarily mean though that you have to like post every single one of those things or share everyone, but try it and see what one lights you up, Yeah, there's no shame in testing out different styles or mimicking. I think mimicry is sort of like how we learn. Like in the early days of learning photography or videography, like you're going to be replicating different things you've seen other people do. That's how we learn the art, I think.
Mhm.
Anyway, I don't know. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we bring Austin Kleon on, like we mention his book all the time, Steal Like an Artist,
Yeah.
but like it
Yeah.
very much is the way we learn, and
Yeah.
I don't think people should. I think people should do that. In fact, we've had a few conversations about that and trends and how
Yeah.
people who dive into trends is almost like a way of like testing the waters a little bit, which I
Yeah.
find was an interesting spin on my thought on trends, because I was very anti-trend,
Mhm.
but seen it in a different light. I wasn't so anti-trend. But
Yeah, I think if you approach everything with curiosity, I think that is like the biggest thing for maybe not longevity, but just like in general. I think if
Yeah.
you're curious about your own work, about other people's work, about how they not so much like the image that they've created itself, but like where did their inspiration come from? And then where did that person's inspiration come from? And just like going down the family tree of inspiration and like, figuring out the root of it, and then maybe leaning into that rather than the actual image itself that inspires you. Yeah.
I was just looking through some of these notes from the workshop
Oh my
here.
God. Did you say mean things about me?
No, lovely things.
Okay.
Like gentle, also, I like this one. Art is not content, which I feel is interesting, because we do create art and it turns into content.
Yeah.
And then our influences are social media, so we're consuming content that's affecting our art. So
Yeah, that's interesting. I've gone back and forth on this idea of hiding my like count on images on Instagram. You know how you can like hide the likes so people can't see how many likes an image got.
No,
And
I didn't know
I've
that.
gone back and forth. Yeah, so for the longest time, I never hit it, and I was like, no, I don't care. Like I'll show my likes. That's no big deal. And then I was like, no, I don't want to show my I don't want to see them myself, and I don't want other people to see them and gauge me by how many likes I'm getting. And so I started hiding them. And then more recently, I turned it back on because I wanted to show that the algorithm is ridiculous and the app itself is ridiculous. And some photos that are beautiful are going to get 6,000 likes, and then others are going to get 300. And like, there is such a huge discrepancy, and it has nothing to do with the image. It has everything to do with the time of day I've posted. It has everything to do with what else is being posted around that time. Are there, a million ads going at that time? Like the algorithm is just so complicated and bizarre, and our work shouldn't be. Anyway, I wanted other people to see that I have this huge discrepancy in engagement and likes and all of this as well, and that's completely normal. So I unhid it now, so everyone can just go and see how some of my posts completely flop, and I don't care.
Oh, I mean, do you know what? It's funny. I always look at the content. I never look at the stats on anything. So much so that I didn't even know you could turn it off. So that's great.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I used to manage the social media account for Cinemate, Greg. Would I be right in saying that? Because I don't do it anymore.
Nobody does.
Jesus Christ. Nobody does. It's just a free for all on that social media platform. Jesus. Yeah. Here, actually, there is another thing on this notepad here. People get stuck on plot. Subtext needs focus. Is that still subtext to you? Is that still a key element of your work?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think the best images are more so the well, maybe not the best images. I always I say things that are like bold statements, and then I'm like, wait a sec, there's nuance to this.
It's okay. That's how I am too. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I sometimes speak before I think, but I do think that subtext is really important and shouldn't be overlooked. And I think it needs to be at the same level as plot. And so what I mean by plot and subtext is there are plot photos at a wedding, and there's a lot of people that will just shoot for the plot and they won't shoot for the subtext. So they're shooting the plot of the day. They make sure they've got their checklist in their head of like, okay, I got to make sure I get the kiss, the ring exchange, the walking down the aisle, the this, the that, they have these like plot things that, and then those are the things that they show. So it's like you can almost pre-predict what a blog post or carousel post is going to look like with
Yeah.
the plot photos. You know, it's like, okay, I know for sure there's going to be a scene setting, scene establishing shot. There's going to be a makeup brush up to the bride's face. There's going to be a dress hanging. There's going to be shoes on a windowsill. There's going to be the flat lay of the car. Like, it's like so formulaic. And
Yeah.
that's the plot. And then the subtext is all the things that you can't even really put into words. It's like the, you know, more like the look from the mother to the son, and just like what that holds, like what is in that moment and what that means.
Hmm.
Or yeah, even if it's something abstract that you photographed that then says something about the day in some way. I don't know. I think
Yes.
subtext is just so cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. You know, I actually, I feel like half the time I live in subtext. I'm like in my brain. That's what I'm looking at. Like when I look at
Yeah.
what an image, I'm creating the subtext
Yeah.
as I'm looking at it and feeling the art or whatever.
Yeah.
And I do. It's something because I've been hassling Greg for a 70 to 200, right? Because we shoot at Lomans and the 24 to 2870 is just not getting me close enough. But I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of subtext happens in those. I mean, sure, you can have a lot of subtext in with an 85 or not an 85,
Yeah.
a 35. There's a lot of story in there. But for me, I'm almost like in those little micro moments that you can put
Yeah.
subtext in. I'm pretty sure I've selected one of your images for show and tell that has a lot of subtext to me anyway. And
Oh,
there's a few of
interesting.
these images. I'm intrigued to see or
I'm
hear
so
your
curious
thoughts
to
on
know.
it.
I'm wondering if I need to remove any more images from my website. But that's interesting that you're saying about, you know, getting close, because another difference that I noticed from the last time we spoke to today is that I've actually gone through two different, like I'm on my second camera body since that last camera that we discussed in the last call. So
Oh.
during the last call,
Mhm.
I was shooting on a Nikon D4, which was
Yes.
a, I want to say 16 megapixel camera, DSLR. It was a beast. Like, I think you referenced the fact that it was the size of my head when I held it up
Yes.
on my face. So I, right at the end of that season, I actually switched to a D850, which is still a, you know, a DSLR. I wasn't ready to go mirrorless at that point.
Okay.
So yeah, the D850, which is, you know, a lot higher megapixels. I didn't love it. And then I was like, okay, maybe I'll jump to mirrorless. So now I'm on the Nikon Z6 III. And what I'm loving about it is that I actually can get closer, because I only shoot with the 2470, which again is
Okay.
an upgrade. I didn't ever shoot on a 2470. I was always
Yeah.
a prime user.
Mhm, I remember.
So I'm now mirrorless with a 2470. I'm very Gen Z, apparently. I don't know. But I love it. Like, it feels so good. And I used to love cropping, really like aggressively cropping. And so now I
Yeah.
can do it and it actually looks normal and okay. I did, however, have to edit my preset and change it because it felt, the mirrorless felt too sharp. It was like too clinically sharp.
Yeah.
You know, like when you're buying a TV and you're looking at like like in a TV store and you're looking at the TV screens and you're watching the, you know, whatever play in the store, and some of the TVs just feel like it's too clinically sharp, you know? It's like, it's not cinematic. It doesn't feel cinematic. And my D4 felt cinematic. So I have altered my preset to feel more cinematic for mirrorless, and it's perfect
Interesting.
now. So I'm very happy with it.
Yeah. What's the megapixel count on that? Like how much can you crop in without it?
I don't even know.
Data
I'm not a
loss.
gear person, clearly.
Yeah, it's fine.
Whatever
like,
it is, it's going to be bigger than 16.
Oh yeah, I think it's well over Z6. Let me see. Megapixel? 24.5. So it's not that high.
It's not huge. Yeah, it's not huge, but
yeah. But it's great. I'm really happy with it. I can shoot in much lower light as well. Yeah.
yes,
I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we just go to show and tell,
Sure.
and then we'll have a look at some
Okay.
of these images that I've picked. Is that
I'm so
timing
nervous.
work, Greg?
Sure. I mean, I was
I
going to
really-
talk about Thrive a wee bit, but
Oh shit! You're right. Okay. Well, no. I tell you what. We'll do
Okay.
show and tell. Then we'll talk about Thrive.
couple of minutes. Yeah,
After.
okay. I think Simon went rogue and
Terrible.
didn't take them from the folder that you sent. He took them from
Yeah, I was gonna say
Instagram.
this was not one that I sent,
So-
but I accept. This is good.
I think they're all from Instagram, so I'm
Yeah,
sure
no,
they've been
that's
shared
fine.
there.
Okay, I do apologize because you're absolutely right. I went on Instagram for these ones. I think
That's okay.
I can't actually remember the reason. There was a reason, but I can't remember. Maybe I was just too excited and I wanted to just do it. So this was done maybe weeks ago.
This is a good one though. This is a really good. This ties into something we were discussing earlier. So this is great.
Oh, okay. I'm intrigued. So the reason I like this is it's kind of got that perfectly imperfect vibe for me. You can't see the bride's covered. I mean, on a pure compositional level, you know, the pillars are very nice. The center of the artwork there with the lights hanging, it all works quite nicely. But then, yeah, the bride's blocked. You can see the dress, so you kind of, again, you're able to make up the subtext that we were talking about there.
Mhm.
But what's the bride thinking or feeling, or you know, like even if a client was looking at this, they might be thinking, "Oh, what would I be doing here?" So
Mhm.
it's interesting in that regard. Yeah. Why did
Yeah.
you why did you take this for the way you did?
So this bride was the one that I referenced earlier as the again, diva's a good word, like the diva bride, the main character
Yeah.
energy bride who
Okay.
we got on the
okay.
production call and she had different outfits chosen for different segments of the day. She's the one who sat on the ground and had the phone call with her grandmother.
Yeah.
I love this is probably one of like my favorite weddings that I've shot. So on the production call, just to backtrack a little bit, first of all, both of those dresses were dresses that she wore that day. So the one that she's standing directly in front of was
Mhm.
the winter dress. It's almost like a winter jacket dress because it was a February wedding. And then the other one was for the reception. And they were both custom made by a local dressmaker here.
Mhm.
They're stunning. So yeah, on the production call, she's like, I definitely want to have a moment with the dresses. We were in this hotel, this place in Toronto, and I knew that there was this ballroom area. She had planned
Uh-huh.
on getting dressed in the hotel room. And so on the call, I was very cheeky and I suggested, I was like, what if we got dressed in the ballroom? Because I knew that with a client like her, she'd be so open to it and so excited about it. And she instantly
Mhm.
was like, is that an option? And I was like, you could ask. Like I just kind of planted the seed. And the next day I
Uh-huh.
got an email back from her and she's like, we're getting dressed in the ballroom. And I was like, perfect. Like that just feels so right for this wedding.
Yeah.
So yeah, she had been getting ready upstairs. The dressmaker was actually on site getting the dresses set up on these two mannequins. It was just so beautiful and like made sense for her. So this is very anticipatory, like just this feeling of like approaching it, but very like quiet and gentle. And she had this beautiful nostalgic presence to her. Like everything about her
Mm.
felt like she was from, I don't know, like the 1940s or 50s. Like she just exuded this energy. And so this, I just love her jacket, her little vintage shoes, just the way that she quietly just walked over. And this was what was so great about having this production call is I didn't have to direct any of this. Like she just knew what this scene was going to be. Not that it's a scene, but you know what I mean? Like she knew what this moment was going to be. And so we
Yeah.
all just quietly watched it happen. And this is what she naturally did. It was amazing.
Yeah.
By the way, I got the subtext completely wrong. I am thinking the bride is behind this individual who, I mean, for me, I can't see. I thought that was the mother of the bride.
Yeah, you
In-
thought somebody
I
was
mean,
wearing that dress.
And I thought someone was wearing that dress, or well,
Interesting.
yeah. So
Well, it's
I
cool
didn't
because it
realize
adds
was two
intrigue,
mannequins,
'cause
but
People
yes,
can get confused like
Yeah.
that, and they're like, "Oh, what? Who's behind her? Like, what is
Yeah.
it?" So yeah,
yes,
I love that.
yeah. I love the fact that I got that wrong, because now I'm going to go back and have a proper look at the
Yeah.
the original image, which is a lot more higher def than the image I'm
Yeah.
seeing in front of me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about social media and stuff, like the amount of times I've seen the same image just with a different couple is staggeringly awkward. But
Mhm.
I just love when I get things wrong. It's great. Okay, next
Yeah, it's
image.
good. It's good. Yep.
Okay. Right. So I'm going to talk about subtext again because this is the image that I was talking about, the subtext.
Yeah.
Um, Now, I'm assuming this is one of your crops. Well, I mean,
Yes.
this is definitely one of your crops.
Yep.
So I'm intrigued. Like, how much of a crop did you take here? What were you trying to say with this crop right here? And
Yeah.
is he in the swimming pool? Like, are they both in the swimming pool with
Yes.
their? Right. Okay. So already I'm like trying to figure out like you might assume that, oh, this is just two people in the pool, but then suddenly he's got a shirt on. You're like, what? Why has he got a shirt on? Oh, she's got
Yeah.
jewelry on. Oh, they're drinking. They're drinking, and so there's all these little nuanced
Yeah.
things that kind of come one after another when you start like putting the pieces together of this little puzzle, which I really like. So yeah,
Yeah.
tell me about this image.
So yeah, this was a styled shoot, and I
Okay.
have when it comes to styled shoots, I very rarely show a lot of it on my portfolio or on my Instagram because I feel
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of times it's very obvious that it's a styled shoot. Like you can tell. Because it doesn't feel believable. It's like there's something about the image that just feels like I don't believe this. I don't believe this moment. This doesn't feel true.
Yeah.
And so one of the ways that I think we can hide that or play with that or camouflage images, one is to like get out of cookie cutter poses, obviously. But in this situation, I don't know who prompted them to go in the pool. I might have, or maybe it was already like part of the plan. Like we were like, definitely they have to jump in the pool. Like we need a pool
Yeah.
shot. She changed her dress. So I brought that dress. Yes. Okay. It was planned. I'm remembering now. This was in Mexico at a workshop I was teaching at. And I brought this other dress that she's in, and it looks very similar to the designer one that she was wearing, like the nice
Mm-hmm.
one that
Yep.
couldn't get wet. So I brought this as this is the one that she can get wet. So she quickly changed into this dress and then they jumped into the pool. But to
Mm.
me, the jumping in the pool shots, the like, cuddling, kissing in the pool felt really cliche. Like I feel like I've seen it a million times. I don't
Yeah.
want that photo. And then with this, I loved it. So initially, it's a way more pulled back shot. Like you see fully their faces, you see lots of space above them. It was shot vertically. There's just it's very literal. It's like it's two people
Mm.
in a pool. It just feels very posed, and I don't know. I didn't believe it, and so I
Yeah.
just basically wanted to crop it until I believed it. If that makes any
Oh,
sense.
yeah.
So yeah, I just kept cropping, and then finally I got to this tight crop and I liked the composition and I was like,
Mm.
"Okay, I believe it now." Like for whatever reason, it feels more believable in some way. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but it just did. So it was more of, I guess, like an intuitive feeling of
Mm-hmm.
this works now for me anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally get you. There was going back to films. I had heard so maybe about 10 years ago there was this, and actually this is still a style of wedding filmmaking that still goes on, but primarily the filmmaker would shoot on an 85 and they would tell the story in very tight shots to build up the scene and stuff. And it
Yeah.
was never a style that I gravitated towards. Um, Famously, I do not like an 85 at all. I think it's the worst focal length for me anyway as a filmmaker. But I don't know why, but someone had mentioned the film Heat, and I don't know if you've
Mm.
watched that recently, but
I haven't
um,
watched it recently.
I actually couldn't watch it for that long because I had to go pick up my kids. But I remember watching the first like 20 minutes, and it was very much shot like that, very tight shots.
Interesting.
Looking at micro expressions, these kind of things, which is
Yeah.
not how a lot of cinema is shot nowadays. It's
Yeah.
all big, epic, or it's like home video type stuff. But this type of image is kind of like that in that it tells the scene, just not all of it. And so
Oh,
you're
I
kind of
like that.
you're waiting for the next scene, or your mind gets to have time to imagine what the scene looks like, or,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah, I
like,
love that. And I think that that can be so useful. Like I don't
mm,
remember Heat, and I really need to rewatch it because I know it's a classic. But I'm
mm,
wondering, is the close crop, is it for that sense of mystery, or is it a sense, like, I don't know the plot, is
yeah.
sometimes it can be used in a way to make you feel confined, like whether it's like anxiety, or like, is that what what the director's going for?
You know what? I actually didn't go back to it. I watched the 20 minutes,
Okay.
didn't go
I'm
back.
gonna watch it.
So I
I'm
don't
curious.
know. I don't know
Yeah, I'm
how
curious.
how the scene plays out after he leaves the apartment,
Yeah.
or
Yeah, because
whatever. But
sometimes you see like perspective. So it's like we know like the camera is essentially the eyes of one of the characters. And you can see
yeah,
like the camera is focusing in on like one, like a some crumbs on a table, and it's like zoomed in on it because that's what the person is looking at. And I really
yeah,
love that in cinema. Like I love how like
hmm
instantly you just know, you understand like we're seeing this through their eyes. That's so cool.
hmm
So I think tight crops can be used in that way, or even like using an 85 or, whatever, to kind of showcase that, like what the other
yeah,
person might be looking at or perceiving. I think that's really cool. I love that.
yeah. Yeah, I really like storytelling that way. I
Cool.
just, yeah, I mean, there is a beauty to it.
For
I
sure.
just, I wasn't able to see the world that way. You know,
Yeah.
I saw bigger scenes, and yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, next image, Gregory. Oh
Oh,
my
yes.
goodness. I'm assuming not a wedding.
Not a wedding. I did photograph her wedding though, but then she
Oh,
needed photos outside of
interesting.
weddings.
Okay.
So
So,
she is a past bride.
okay. Um, I mean, uh, having known what your portfolio looks like, you don't have anything like this in terms of like what a bride might be doing with their hands and arms, and
Yeah.
or I wouldn't. Forgive me for assuming what your work would
Yeah.
be, but as far as I'm aware, there's nothing like this in your portfolio that isn't like non-studio based.
No. And so that's another shift that I would like to start doing more studio-ish work, more like
Mm-hmm.
portrait work, but
Mm,
specifically for actors, dancers, sort of people
mm,
with big personalities. I just find it really fun. Like I really, really, really enjoy it.
mm.
So this girl, her name is Jordan, Jordan Clark. She's a really well-known dancer in Canada. She actually won like this dance, So You Think You Can Dance Canada. She's
All
really
right.
cool. She's
Mm-hmm.
great. I photographed her wedding, and her and her husband are both actors as well, and they're known for stuff that's more aligned with like the Disney Channel,
Oh,
like
okay.
teenage Disney Channel kind of stuff. And so she wanted to kind of mature her brand. So she wanted a shoot that didn't have her looking like a little teenager anymore, but more
Sure.
so, like a matured version where it's still showing
Mm,
these like dance, sort of a nod to dance and
mm-hmm.
movement. So yeah, we just played around in a studio, and we just played with movement, and I love the shape of like the outfit she's wearing, and then the elbow, and just all of it. It's just weird, and I love it.
Yeah. When you were in Edinburgh and I was watching you shoot, you shot very much like a cinematographer in the fact that you were as far as I'm aware, you were using the burst mode and constantly moving
Yeah.
yourself, almost like you were dancing with your subjects. Now I'm wondering, will you like that for this image and the studio images here?
Yeah, I am always like that. So, um, I'm not necessarily in burst mode. I don't think I've ever shot in burst mode because that would
Okay.
just be like so overwhelming for me to edit. But I
Yeah.
definitely like I'm shooting like I'm kind of shooting like when it feels right. It's almost like a rhythmic thing, and I'm not shooting
Mm,
like a million photos, but enough that like there's like micro, especially with a dancer, like there's micro
Yeah.
movements. And if you miss, like you want the full expression of a pose. And I feel like with
Mm.
moments and with emotion, you want the full expression of a moment. And so sometimes we can press the shutter too soon or too late. And so I just want to make sure I ride the wave of whatever that emotion or that movement is. So
Mm-hmm.
that's when I'm like more of like burst mode. Otherwise, I'm a little bit more kind of like methodical. But when
Yeah.
I'm noticing there's like this wave of energy, then I'm like, I'm kind of flowing with whoever it is and like click, 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 click through that one moment and then ease again, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
So is she constantly moving her arms, or is this like a pose that you kind of prompted her into?
She would have been moving quite a
Okay.
bit. I think I probably would have said, "Oh, I love that. I love that. Like, go deeper into that,"
Yeah.
or like just stay there for a moment or something like that. Like, I would have kind of
Mm-hmm.
encouraged it. It also depends
Yeah.
on what music we have playing. Like, if we have really slow, you know, kind of like softer, slower, chill music playing, then they're going to move a lot slower. And if
Mm-hmm.
we have like wild classical, movement, they're going to be moving in a quicker way. So you can kind of influence the speed and the movement of someone and even the
Yeah.
energy of someone with the music that you're using in a shoot. I think it really does
Yeah.
help. Yeah.
Mm. Actually, that was one of the notes that were here. You said make a playlist for your couple session. Do you do that for weddings as well?
I don't anymore, no. And so I kind of like, I'm still doing the playlist thing, but what we did in film club was we actually used this idea of, an instrumental score of a movie or a soundtrack for a movie. And I encouraged all of the members to make a soundtrack for their brand. So we were kind of looking at our brand, like
Mm.
maybe it's a movie or a cinematic universe of some sort, and to create a playlist for your brand. What does your brand sound like? Like, what would the soundtrack be for your brand? Does it have,
Ooh.
lyrics? Is it just instrumental? Is it electronic? Is it classical? Is it nostalgic? Just like all of these
Mhm.
different things. So a lot of people have shared in the group chat and they're sharing their playlists. And for some of them, I'm like, this makes so much sense. Of course, this is your soundtrack. Like, this is your
Oh,
brand. This is
interesting.
amazing.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool,
Mm.
I don't know, just thing to try.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Well, how many songs are on their playlist?
Um, well, some of them have like 10 to 15, some have more, some have
Okay.
less. Like
Okay, so
it's
it's
been a
just an
range.
open. It's just an open
Yeah.
call to. Oh,
Yeah,
that's so
exactly.
interesting. I am gonna
I would
do
be very
that.
curious to see what you guys would do for your soundtrack for your brand.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
See, the thing
Because
is,
we need to like come together
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
formulate one like together, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
should.
interesting because my own personal music taste uh kind of influences the music that we use in our films.
Yes.
It never uh what's the word? I'm like it's like the couple's taste is the primary, and I am
Yes.
just like is there something here that I can play with and fit a certain tone here for an
Yes.
element of the film. So yeah, it's always interesting because I'm
Yeah,
always
it would be
using
interesting to
their
remove that to remove that element from your
mm,
playlist. So rather than
yeah.
thinking like, okay, what does the client want? Like and what does the individual movie need rather than like
Mm,
the service of creating the video, but like what about just the brand overall? Like what would the
yeah.
brand be? Like if I was, how when music was cool on websites back in the day, what music would be playing on your website now that it's not cool
Yeah.
anymore? It's just interesting. I find it
Mm,
really fascinating. And also, like, I think there are so many genres of music that I love, and they would not make the cut for what my brand is,
yeah.
right? Like, I love Broadway, but like, my brand is not Broadway. I love old nostalgic Disney music, but like, that's not, you know, I love
Hmm.
Elton John, but Elton John is not Jennifer Moher photography. So
Definitely
it's
not.
really
Definitely
interesting.
not.
I think you can start seeing a more clear picture of what your brand
Mm.
is when you start pulling in these other elements.
Yeah. What was name me one of your artists from your playlist?
Well, Max Richter is one that's on mine. He does a lot of cinematic scores,
Hmm.
most notably On the Nature of Daylight, which is a very sad, somber song, but it's beautiful. You would hear it if you've seen Hamnet recently. You would have heard it in that. You would hear it in Shutter Island. You would hear it in Arrival. At the very beginning, the opening scene of Arrival, the first 5 minutes is that song.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's a great film.
It's beautiful. Also, the show The Last of Us, it was shown in an episode of The Last of Us, and it was just as soon as I hear those opening notes, I'm just like, oh, someone's gonna die. Like something bad is about to happen. It's just like,
and that's what your brand says. Oh,
well, it's not. I mean, it's a whole collection, right? So it's not just one specific song. It's like a whole. It's an energy. And there's I think there's like nostalgia in that as well. But another is, oh my God, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He does a lot of Paul Thomas Anderson's movies. Johnny Greenwood. Do you know that composer?
I'm not familiar.
So
with Johnny Greenwood.
He did There Will Be Blood. He did the score for There Will Be Blood, and specifically on my playlist, I have Phantom Thread, the music that he did for Phantom Thread, because it's just so beautiful. So anyway, he's cool to check out.
Interesting.
Oh, I think he did Begonia. Begonia? Did he do Begonia? Maybe not. Oh no.
I'm not sure.
No, he didn't do Begonia, but I think he did One Battle After Another. Yes, of course, because Paul Thomas Anderson. So if you've seen that, then yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I was
insane.
just trying to think what I would put Charlie XCX, but that Wuthering Heights song.
So good.
Oh, I am gonna die in this house. Is that the name of the song? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
when that
amazing.
line just repeats and repeats, that is a fucking tune right there. That is the one. It's dark, it's earthy, it's fucking depressing. Yeah. That.
I love that.
That for
there you
our
go. You've got your
brand
song.
There you go.
Hey, I'm Ashley from With Jack. I'm one of the sponsors of the Perspective podcast. With Jack helps to keep photographers in business by supporting them financially and legally if they have problems with a client or they make a mistake in their work. We've all had that fear of our CF card or our hard drive failing and losing important photos. You can find out more at withjack.co.uk. Head over there and find out how we can help you be a confident creative.
Let's talk about Thrive. So,
you're coming
Thrive.
back.
You're coming back. What?
I'm coming back. I'm so excited. This is my third time.
Is it?
Yeah.
Being there.
That's mad. Why'd you keep coming back?
What does
Lisa have on you?
Asking me. I don't know. The second time I was like, okay, yeah, like I think I can come up with some new, a new presentation that's different from the last. And this time I'm like, oh my God, like, are people sick of me? I hope I have something new to say, but I think I do. I think the presentation will be very different from past. So, yeah.
What can people expect?
Yeah, what can?
Have you got a rough working title for it?
Yeah. Working title right now is Believing the Image. So it actually does lean back into things that we've talked about of how to make images that feel honest and believable. We'll be referencing movies. So it's basically going to be this whole podcast, but like even more. Like we're going even deeper, and there's going to be tangible steps of what you can actually do to create images that actually feel believable. And I think what kind of brought this on was over the past year, I record all of my client calls because they're just through Zoom. So it automatically records, and it's just like I don't know, it just records it automatically. Yeah. I didn't even know that it was doing it. And then I would see it and I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. And so I review it before the wedding. I'll just like re-listen to it so I can, if there's anything that I've forgotten or anything important that they said in that first call, I can re-listen to it before. And while I was re-listening to it at the beginning, a lot of the clients will say, like what drew us to your work was that the images felt so honest and like everything felt so real, and it didn't feel fake. It didn't feel formulaic. It didn't feel forced or posed or cookie cutter in any way. And so I started to think like, okay, well, how can I teach that? Like, what is that? Where does that come from? And how can I teach that? So Yeah, the presentation will be essentially that. It'll be digging really deeply into that and then looking at movie references. So, looking through different examples of how we can reference film and steal from film and inject that into our work to create a portfolio that will actually get you booked, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the goal. And then the shoot is going to be like an even deeper. So we just keep going deeper and deeper. So the presentation will be a deeper version of this talk, and the shoot is going to be a much deeper look into the inside of my brain and how I'm planning this out and how I'm working with the shoot and the approach and all of it. It's going to be really cool. If anyone has seen the movie Nine, it's Daniel Day-Lewis stars in it. It's a musical, so not many people have probably seen it, but it's really beautiful cinematography and just like the set design and everything is so stunning. And so the groom, the model who's going to be like the groom in this, I want him to kind of be the Daniel Day-Lewis, kind of like suave, Italian man. And we're going to focus on behind the scenes of a production, like we said at the beginning of the call. So it'll be really cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Now, careful when you buy your tickets, just be aware that for every level down in Jennifer's world you go, time will move slower. So by day 2, when that's how she's able to drive away from Thrive and you get a good amount of work because time slows down infinitely at that deep level. I mean, some of you might not even get out, if I'm honest. It'll take a really big jolt. So just be warned when you buy your tickets, you could be trapped in an infinite level of. Sorry.
I don't even know what the level is. It's like the upside down in Stranger Things. Like we're going deep.
Going deep.
We're for any Stranger Things references, like we're going to Vecna's home. Like we're not even going to the upside down. We're going to the next level beyond the upside down. We're going to Vecna's home.
Oh, yes. What did you think of Stranger Things? Did you like it?
That's like a hot topic right now.
I know. That's why I'm diving straight in there.
Yeah. And with the whole, like, everyone assuming there was going to be like an actual final episode. I don't know if you went down the TikTok.
My God, I fucking loved it. I loved it so much.
People are crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
but you know what?
Yeah,
absolutely. What was it? What did they call it again?
Conformity gate.
Conformity gate. Oh my God, I was loving it. You see, this is. It could have been absolutely like cinema history if they had actually done it that way.
It's pretty cool, and I am going to put bets on it right now that is going to happen in the near future because of the crazed fans and the seeds that they have planted in other, creators' minds now, directors or TV show producers or whatever it is. Like I think
so someone else is going to do it.
Yeah,
I thought you meant the Duffers were going to bring one out.
No, the Duffers won't. And I was happy with the ending.
They missed their chance.
Yeah, I was happy with the ending. I did feel though that was it episode 4? That was like where there was a break, like at the end when like the whole like when now we're like, oh my God, Will has powers. This is amazing.
Superpowers,
like that scene, that like one shot, like it was like all like no cuts. That fight scene, everything was so. I sat there with my mouth like wide open, just like staring at the TV. Yeah. That for me had more impact than the final episode. And
I agree.
The battle with Vecna. Like I just was like, that's it. Like I thought I expected more because of how big the other episode was. I felt like they put all of their effort into that, and it just isn't. I wanted more, but I was still happy. Like that was where I left. Yeah.
It's so interesting the power of that show. And then I almost feel bad saying this, but like how badly it was written at the end that made the fandom ignite a reality that didn't exist. Like they were reading clues into. I thought the finale was fine. I am confused though because I watched some of I watched the making of, and when they were having their discussions I mean, there's one that I can remember right now. It's like they were talking about how there should definitely be demogorgons and
Yeah.
monsters in
Yeah.
the wherever they come from. I can't remember what they call it. And then
Yeah.
it didn't happen. But when they're in the
Yeah.
meeting, they're like, "Yeah, that definitely needs to happen. It
But the
doesn't
one
make
person
sense otherwise."
said,
What?
well, we're at risk of demogorgon fatigue, and like they've
Oh,
they've
yeah,
seen
but-
and I was like, no, but we're not. Like we want that. Like I expected that. So yeah, I agree.
I mean, yeah. Oh,
I
you're right. I
totally
do
agree.
remember the. I
Yeah,
do
but I
remember
do-
the fatigue.
I
but,
do
yeah.
think like after the hype kind of, toned down a little bit, I do think that the way they ended it did feel reminiscent of the era of film that they were influenced by and the style of film that they were influenced by. Like they weren't going for this deep, dark thing. Like they were going for E.T., they were going for Spielberg, they were going for like the movies that we grew up with as children. And in that, it's like, no, we're not going to see death. We're not going to see our main characters killed off. We're not going to have these twisted, crazy, we're actually all still in darkness moments. Like that's not the era or the genre that they were inspired by. So like in that, maybe that was my own way of just like finding peace with it.
Maybe.
But I also
makes sense. Yeah.
I have teenagers who grew up on it. Like they literally grew up with those kids on the show. And so my 15-year-old specifically was like heartbroken when there wasn't another episode. Like she was really holding on to something. So it was interesting to watch it all unfold.
Oh man. And now you've said that another show will possibly do that kind of fake ending type thing. Now I'm super excited. What
How could
show
you
could
not?
possibly, but I feel like you would need to have a show, and we are so off topic. I'm sorry, Lisa.
You know what? I know what show could do it. I think Severance. If anything, if any show currently on air could do it, I think Severance could somehow, because we're dealing with like sort of this like confusion of reality. I think that I could see it. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I could see that. But it's I think it just I feel like for me you needed that cultural impact that the show like Stranger Things had.
Yeah.
Without it, I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean with Severance, I don't know if you guys have watched Severance, but the sleuthing that the fans do with Severance is of that same nature of Stranger Things. Like it's not as widespread, but like the fans of Severance, they have their fan theories and they're usually right. Like they guess the plot before it even happens. Like it's really cool. So I'm curious to see what comes from that show. I think I feel like there's more. It's going to be bigger and I'm excited.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need to go back through and watch that season. Second season.
I'm not up to date with that.
Oh my God. Get up to date.
I didn't either.
Anyway.
Oh
my God.
Back to Thrive, because
Thrive.
We'll, if anyone wants to talk to us about this at Thrive, feel free. Just yeah. But yeah, so day 2, it's going to be fantastic. We've spoken about day 2, haven't we? Yes, we have.
Yeah.
We spoke about it right at the beginning. So, I mean, listeners, if you're on the fence, get yourself off the fence and buy yourself a ticket.
If there's any left.
I don't know. Are there
tickets
any left?
I don't actually know. Is there? Lisa, are there any tickets left?
I love that there are 3 time slots for the day 2. So it means like if you really want to make sure that you go to someone else's show, you can, but it gives you so much variety and so many options, which is really cool. And I have a feeling that my shoot is going to be a little bit different because it is more of like a production kind of vibe. It's going to feel like you're on a film set or like a studio set, which is going to be really cool. So it'll be a little bit different than I don't know.
And so are you just going to get are you going to get people there with taxis?
Oh, people can Uber. It's it's like an 8-minute Uber. So people can just share Ubers. I think there's going to be like a group where all the people who are going to the shoot will know and they can just share rides or something. Okay. Yeah. Lisa said it was chill.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if things go tits up, it's on Lisa. It's on Lisa.
So, it's really not that far away. Don't worry.
As if I don't have other things to worry about. Thanks.
Yeah.
So we normally ask book recommendations, but I'm going to put you in spot, and hopefully people have been listening to this episode and writing down every movie we've mentioned. But
Oh my God, yes.
on the spot,
Yeah.
give us one movie as homework for people to go and watch.
Oh, homework. Oh my gosh.
It doesn't have to be related to your talk or anything. Just
Oh no.
a movie that they should all watch before their next wedding,
Oh, before their next
or
wedding.
just anytime soon. Something they
Ooh.
should watch soon.
Oh, that's so hard. It's funny because as soon as you say movies, I just think of the most recent movies that I've watched. And the most recent one I watched is 28 years later, The Bone Temple. So that's not going to be a wedding reference, but it was so good and I loved it so much.
Yeah.
But that's not going to be helpful for weddings, is it?
Mm.
Let's say, oh gosh, let's say The Godfather. I think The Godfather is a great
Godfather.
movie to go and reference for, obviously for like the bigness of the movie, the largeness of the scale of the film, but also that opening scene, like the opening wedding scene. We referenced it earlier. And I think that that is such a cool scene to watch play out. I like movies that have weddings, but weddings aren't the main plot.
Yeah.
I just always find it interesting to see how a wedding is produced in a film. So yeah, let's say The Godfather for the cinematography, for just the nostalgia of it all, for the wedding. And then you'd have to follow up with part 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, that's my recommendation.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. I haven't seen that movie in a very long time. So
Rewatch it.
Yeah, I will.
your
After
homework.
Inception, obviously.
Yes, obviously. Yes.
Obviously.
Yes. Oh, also Train Dreams. If you're looking for
Yes.
cinematography influences before shooting a wedding, Train Dreams. Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's free if you have Netflix. So that would be number one recommendation. I'm going to bump that up before The Godfather, and I'm going to put that there isn't a wedding. Wait, or is there? They do get married. Okay, anyway, watch Train Dreams, like just period. Every single shot is so intentionally composed and lit, and just everything about it is like, just watch the trailer at the very least. You will be blown away. It's such a beautiful movie. Yeah.
I watched the trailer recently and I was like, oh, I'm going to have to try and watch that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's well worth it. It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, good. Yeah. I love film recommendation where I have no idea what it is I've been recommended, but I'll definitely go and have a look.
Oh yeah. I feel like, Simon, especially like your look right now, it's leaning into Train Dreams. Like it's just got that vibe. You're gonna love it. I think it's very you. And I remember you were talking about that video that you guys did with you were like chopping wood or something, and there was like your promo video. I feel like the promo video is Train Dreams. You got to see it. You got to see it. Yes.
Yeah. You have to watch Train Dreams, not our promo video, which I really hope
That's
is
the
not.
homework. Watch both. I think it's still on your Vimeo, isn't it?
Well, it might be.
We got rid of Vimeo recently, so it might
amazing.
not exist anywhere. I'm not sure.
It might not exist. Yes, thank God.
Okay,
Thank
that's fine.
God.
Watch Train Dreams.
Oh my God.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's a good fun doing a shoot. I mean, who does promotional films of themselves for their website? I mean, I think people should get back on that and do some filming of themselves.
Yeah, I think it's just shifted now, and we're seeing it more on like Reels and TikTok and things like that. Like it's not so much like a feature film kind of vibe. It's more just like vertical vibes.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah, I just remember that was supposed to be a very serious film because we were serious filmmakers, Jen.
Yes.
But one of our brides was just like, "Oh, I thought that was so funny. Oh, you
Love
guys
the
are
tongue-in-cheek
hilarious."
humor.
And I'm like, "Oh dear." I mean, yeah, it's very OTT, so I don't blame her.
That's so funny. Like I almost picture that who's that guy, like I can't remember his name, LaFontaine something. The guy like In a World with you know that voice actor? Don LaFontaine?
Don LaFontaine, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, like I pictured that in the voiceover.
Yeah.
In a world where videos are made.
I mean, if people want to hear a very brief part of it, it's the voiceover that we use for the podcast. You know, that same voiceover we had throughout the whole film. Anyway, I'm sorry, Lisa, we've gone right off track here. Look, Jen, where can people go to find you online if they want to check out your portfolio or your film club? Which, yes, let's encourage people to get on that, because now I'm going to be encouraging Greg to get on that.
Yeah, I would love you guys in there. I think it would be really cool. Yeah, so jennifermoher.com is my website. Instagram, I'm just Jennifer Moher, and Film Club is joinfilmclub.com. And I believe there are still a few tickets left for my day 2 shoot at Thrive. So jump on that. It's going to be amazing. Like I get really excited, and I think a big part of that is that I'm literally just creating a playground that like I want to explore. So I'm inviting everyone to just come and explore it with me, and I think that makes for a really fun shoot. So
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I'm very excited for it.
cool.
Cool. People can find us at perspectivebycinemate.com. Our Instagram is Perspective by Cinemate. Our company is Cinemate, and our elopement is elopements for the feral. Not that you need to check them out, because that's not what we're here for. However, open your browser, go to the Photography Farm Thrive website and buy your tickets if you're on the fence. It is on the 10th and 11th of March, returning to the incredible Imagen X at the Hotel in Edinburgh. And again, like I said on every single episode of this podcast, it's their 10th year. So I don't know. I expect something extra special, I think, from Lisa. I think she always pulls out of the bag. So yeah, very excited. Buy your tickets. Lisa says buy your tickets. I hope that's enough, Lisa, because you're always telling me how I'm not telling people enough to buy their tickets. I hope that's enough. If you have enjoyed this conversation, please do hit subscribe on our YouTube at youtube.com/perspective by Cinemate, or wherever you get your podcast, and we'll see you in the next episode. However,
In the meantime,
enjoy your Thrive.